This is my question. I ask Society Australia. You believe to give them gay rights to marry each other? They want protect them? This is my question. I ask Australia or society. I repeat again my question. You believe to give them gay women and women to marry each other? Government they want to protect them? You men to give them men to marry each other? You believe government they want to protect them? They want to give them rights? This is my question. I ask all society again, answering my question. This is another my question. Farmer, government training them environment to put trees in the bottom, in the leg, in the back, and in the head. You believe we want to protect you? You believe this green training you this all, not fighting you this rights women and men to be married, na men to be married, not to protect this environment. This government they want to protect you. They want to give you rights. This is my question, you farmer. When he protect you in environment, why you are not give you education training how you can survive with this environment? He training you environment, and he confused to teach you how you can survive with this environment. Meaning he destroy you, not to give you training how you can survive with the bush. You remember Prime Minister Scott Morrison when he was talking, he said they don't have rules to protect them. Farmer, they're going to make another new rules to protect them. Now, this is my question. Since the government they been, you society, you don't have rules to protect you. Ask yourself, why is this the government they did the government not to put rules to protect you? Meaning they don't want to protect you society. Why is they confused to put rules to protect you? Now Prime Minister Scott Morrison, he promised you to put rules to protect you. And in these rules, they never put these rules. He talking only. Now you believe Greens, they give him this course to fighting about gay. Sorry. Government, first they put the training children, they put traffic jam in the brain. When they finish to put traffic jam, they start to lose communication, conversation, they lost hearing, everything. Now when they finished lost hearing, communication, conversation, missing life, everything, and the training again to come to destroy, to continue to destroy them. Him to start fighting for them with they need to have rights. Women and women to marry each other. Men and men to marry each other. Them they thinking he fighting them rights. No, they continue to destroy them. This is my example. Remember, when he was fighting this, he joined my campaign and he gave me phone. We start to contact each other. The day was they want to go in the parliament. There was a call on me. They tell me this day will be in the parliament. Listening us, meaning to listen them how they act, freedom of choice, how they fighting. When they finish to win, to destroy society, they fighting them rights, and they move, they never contact him again, and they never talking about freedom of choice. They quiet. Look how they training them to challenge. This day when they were joining my campaign, I was thinking they protect me, they join with me. Them they were use me like a tool to get supporters in the street. Only. Now me, I was thinking they're serious. They join me. Now when they start to change, and to do strong communication, always there was a call on me. When I start to call them, I have a problem with the police and town council, and they start to dodge to talk with me. Now I start to understand because they use me like a tool to them to win. Now use you to destroy you. Now you believe they protect you. This is my question. Why they protect you to be married? You women and the men, and you men and the women, you women and the women to marry each other, and now you men and the men to marry each other. And society they get children in this injection. 100% they gay. 20% is a society. They're not gay. Now this is my question. I ask you get answering my question. Why is they never fighting for you this? To give you to this rights, they give you this. You to give you this rights to meet men in the street. When men he talking with him, I need to have children. I take my responsibility. They are not responsibility. Now men this time they're not going to confuse you. His body they finished to wake up. Common sense no. He lost common sense. Now if he's a woman and I am, man he say I need to travel children, I take responsibility. Now woman his body when they wake up common sense no. This body when they wake up common sense no. Now if you feel pain, now if you feel sick, when they finish to wake up, this sick they remove away. They are the poison and they are the medicine. Now you to have rights to get children, to him fighting for you to have these rights. Why he gives them these rights? To challenge you, to give you these rights, not to give you right, not fighting for you this right, gay, to challenge you. Why he 100% they need children? When he fighting for them rights, all they have children. And he gives them get married each other not to have children. He fighting for them not to have children. Now when he fighting for them this rights, they have children, meaning he doing nothing. He doing nothing to give them this rights. Now he gives them this. He know to have children here is a lot of process. Interview, counselor. First counselor you to see if you will protect children, not torture him. When you pass this, and to counseling you to see your job. If it's your job, they protect children. When you pass the job, and they counseling you, now you have end interview, money to pay money. Now when you pass, you pay money, you will have children here. When you are not passing this all interview, you are not going to have children. Now to 100% because they need the children to injection, they will be 10%, meaning 90% they not have children. Now them they win. Why they give you this rights? They give you rights to marry each other, not to have children. Not to have children. Now you say they give me rights. This is my question again. I ask you question in all of society. Why they give them this rights? And they fighting for them rights. This rights, and he gives this injection to have sex with the society, to have children. Why is it not when they get children here? Children, one he take children, they be her responsibility. Why is they not fighting for them? This rights, them to give them this rights. No, they're not going to fighting them this rights. They don't want them to have children. When they're fighting them this rights, they have children. Another my question. Look, now this time they give them funeral rights. People when they die to take sperm from them. Meaning you women, you know need men to ask men to give me eggs. Now they give you, society they die. Men him better when he need the children, they discuss with the woman. Now you to start to make a woman like a rubbish, with the rubbish bin, to put this meaning they finish to put traffic jam in the brain, not to understand how they treatment him, how they destroy women. And when you need one man sperm in the future to come to get another children, meaning that they keep it for you this, not to give them another people. To know you left their appointment, another day you come back, you need another children. To one man, to one funeral. Now I ask you a question. Why is it not looking with this? He abuses you, he abuses in a funeral to fighting for you this right, you to have rights, you men and the men, you are not die. This is another big question. Farmer. They give government, they share course. They give them green course to train to teach you environment, and to start you to die in this fire. To training you environment, not to training you how you can survive with this bush environment. Not to give you training to come in the bush they don't have trees, to training you go put in the bush, or every bush put trees, and to come to put it to your house in a bottom, in a leg, in a hair, now to start you to die. This is my question. Why is they not give you training how you can survive with these trees, with this bush? No, he confused to give you training. Is they don't want society you to die there. When you survive not to die, when you lost property, to come to show you he help you to your property. Now you to start to be happy. Meaning they finish training you to put a traffic jam in the brain. Not to understand how they play you, how they destroy you. How they destroy you. You remember Prime Minister, I repeat again. When they were talking to protect society in a farmer, he said they don't have rules to protect them farmer. Since government they don't have rules to protect farmer. Meaning I'm talking to you with you true story. Why they don't have farmer, they never been with rules to protect them. Since government they been. Now why since he talking he want to protect farmer, is they never put these rules to protect them. Meaning that you to die in a farmer, them to living, now we finish job. Them they training them, they put them to life jam in the brain, and they give them experience to put to another society to life jam in the brain. There are, look, I give you example. Society, people have HIV. When he finished to know, now he get HIV, he's not going to protect another society not to have HIV. He decided to say, now me I have HIV, now me I give them. Now them they protect they training them to put them traffic in the head, traffic jam in the head, and now them they say no. And society will report them 100% traffic jam. Now we will not help each other. We don't have the rules to protect each other. Now, I'm talking real story. Don't someone joking. In the future, you women, you are not to keep it children. They'll get another training to keep it children for them. They'll start to make us society like a car in a order. One of factors they have order. Someone they have I need the car. One of the 100, now to make them to make cars, they make 110. Meaning them to know they have 10 cars. Another 100 they finish, some they finish to to price this car, they take this car. Now as they make society, they start to make society every day 2 people. Not every week 5 people. Why them they don't need children? They start to make people they want to close with them. Now another society, you are not going to have another woman, you are not going to get this, you are not going to get this to make a baby. Believe me what I'm talking. Get experience how funeral they make a baby, where they get experience. Get experience how they take your baby inside the stomach to give him another to carry this children his stomach. And the children to be there, his stomach to grow up. And this woman to deliver these children like his children. This is they show you another they come you women now you will be like a man. Like a man now they don't want eggs. They need a funeral only. Now you will be like this. Meaning you when they need stuff to you women, now you they go to your funeral, they collect it. Don't say I'm talking lie, I'm talking a true story. Now continue to listen. Continue to listen in my video. They were not fighting for your freedom. They were not fighting your rights. They were to destroy you.
2022 is the sad fact that your kids, my kids, are going to be living in a world, in Australia that's poorer, older, and smaller.
Well, the reality is we are going to see the economy contract. That's one point. The second is because of the health restrictions, we've seen an impact on population. And as you point out, Australia's population growth will be the lowest in more than a century. And net overseas migration will be falling in consecutive years for the first time in 46 years. So we are seeing, as a result of COVID-19, Andrew, significant impact on growth as a result of those population numbers. And of course, we're seeing a smaller economy as a result. But there is cause for optimism and hope, and that's our focus.
So not poorer, not older?
Well, again, the Australian economy, hope, and that's our focus.
So not poorer, not older?
Well, again, the Australian economy will continue to grow. Population growth will come back. The net overseas migration numbers that are printed in the budget after those consecutive years of falls will start to come back as restrictions are eased. So the trends will start to turn around for the economy, but certainly the shock is great.
Catherine Murphy.
Ladies and gentlemen, women, government to give them rights, to give them to marry each other, women and women, they were not to give them rights. And to give them men and men to marry each other, they were not to give them rights. This is you hear men how he talking. He ask him a question. Your KDZ, na my KDZ, they're living with this poor order. Look, he's not answering his question. And look how he was ask him my KDZ, look how he was look him, you know. When you see people he talking with you, look how he was looking him. His behavior look. They were see why he asking me this question. Now people smart already. If you are answering yes, I'm going to give them rights. Society they smart, they know these people he talking liar. His behavior, they was not follow with his language. Now look already him, his behavior, face, eyes, they correct me, they follow each other with his answering question. He's not answering his question. Don't ask, meaning don't ask him again this question. And look on a woman she started answering him, not to change this order. He say is the same. He say I'm a protect economic. I'm looking economic. Now you thinking with now this is my question again. You society, women to manage each other, men to manage each other. He was a give you rights. No, he was a destroy you. When he was a give you rights, he been not to give you rights. Now look, he talking about poor order, poor rights. Is not to give him. Meaning you now you have to know we was not to give you rights. You was a give you poor order. You have to believe we was a give you, they were fighting for you poor order. Now this guy Green was fighting, don't thinking they was against him, they don't want to give them. Them they were, they have two language. Go to my video, to listen to two language. And now I'm going to show you two language. I'm going to show you two language. When I finish this. There was a guy, no, we don't want to give them, now continue do campaign them to be lotto. Continue to do campaign them to be lotto. To destroy them, we don't need children, we don't need them to make a baby. We don't have rules to protect them. Okay, continue. Sorry. And they go to ABC. ABC. They're doing him interview. He said, I don't want to give them freedom. They were doing him interview about this interview question. He said, no, when we give them society freedom, they make a baby. Why you looking you men and you women to women to marriage, they give them quick. Why they know you are not going to make a baby? Why they know when you're going to make a baby, you have this process, not one process. Meaning they know to 100 women they need children, 10 they pass. 95% they're not going. 95 they're not going to pass. Process. You men now you to give you men to marriage each other with the men. They know now you men. You have this process. Meaning 100 men to going to have children. They have this process interview. To going to pass this process interview, meaning there will be 2 men, they have children. Not one. Meaning 1% have right to have children. Meaning 90 not to pass. Meaning them to win, society not to have children.
Because, and I quote, they're a strain on the rest of the class. People don't choose to be autistic. Taking them out of school is discrimination. And One Nation just loves it. One Nation wants a ban on any immigration from majority Muslim countries, even if the person isn't Muslim. People don't choose what country they're born in. That is discrimination. One Nation has no problem with that either. One Nation is opposed to same-sex marriage. People don't choose to be gay. That is discrimination. One Nation has no issue with that either. One Nation is not a fighter against discrimination. One Nation seeks to profit from it. It's just a fundraising exercise for them, and that's all this is. This bill is supposed to be about fighting the discrimination of people who haven't been vaccinated against COVID-19. The only people who need protection from discrimination are people who can't receive the vaccination for reasons outside of their control. They shouldn't be discriminated against. But if you're able to get vaccinated and you choose not to, discrimination is the wrong word. That's not discrimination. You have freedom to make a choice, but if you make a choice, those choices have consequences. You can't call every consequence a choice a discrimination. If you get behind the wheel of a car and drive twice the speed limit, you may be comfortable taking that risk with your safety, but you've been putting other people's lives at risk, and you don't have the right to do that, and you will more than likely lose your licence. You are not being discriminated against. You choose to do something that puts other people's lives at risk, and you will be accountable, you will be held accountable for that choice. It is that simple. That's what we're talking about here. People who don't get the vaccine are making a choice. You have a choice. We all have choices to make. We all get a choice. You're making a choice that means you're more likely to get COVID and you're more likely to spread it to someone else. And that is your choice. It is your right. I want to make that clear. And I support that choice.
I'm just checking.
But you don't get to decide how the rest of Australia responds to that choice. You can't force someone else to react a certain way to you because of your freedom to choose. That's not how we do things in this country. We've got freedom of speech in Australia, but you can't stop people reacting to what you say with your freedom of speech. We have a freedom of assembly, but you can't stop the rest of us from calling you out if you're being disruptive and rude. Having the freedom to choose isn't the same as having freedom to avoid the consequences of that choice. Some might say that if you're vaccinated because you're required to in order to keep your job, you've been forced to get vaccinated. That's not right, and that's not being truthful at all. That is not correct. If you want to work with vulnerable people, you need to do a police check. If you want to work with kids, you do have to have a working with children check. That is the way it is. And we do that to keep people safe. How about that? We put others before ourselves. You can decide not to choose those checks. No one's forcing you. But if you don't do them, you can't work where you want to work. It's as simple as that. That is the way it is. If you want to work as a cabbie, you need a licence to drive a cab. People without licences are not being discriminated against. If you want to work in aged care, you need to have a flu vaccine. And that rule has been in place before COVID-19 was even a twinkle in a Chinese bat's eye, for goodness sake. That's the way it is. You have a right to choose. You don't have a right to put vulnerable people's lives at risk. You don't have that right. And so you shouldn't have that right. You don't have the right to go into an aged care home unvaccinated and risk starting a COVID outbreak for the elderly. I have constituents with autoimmune conditions who run businesses. If they're forced to serve unvaccinated customers, they'll have to choose between risking their lives or shutting down their businesses. You don't have the right to force them to make that choice either. We have pubs in Hobart that will have to close if a single COVID person walks into them. Those pub owners should be able to choose to protect themselves and their staff. And they should be able to say, I can't afford to have an unvaccinated person in here. They're already on their knees. They should not be forced to pay for another person's choice not to get the vaccine. This is the point. Nobody has the right to make someone's life less safe. That's not what freedoms mean. That's not what freedoms mean at all. You have the freedom to make your own choices. Everyone else has the freedom to respond to your choices. And you don't get to control that no matter how much you might want to. Now, I get that some people have a lot to fear about the vaccine. I understand that for some, putting that needle in your arm is a hard choice to make. It's good to ask questions about how the vaccine was developed, where it comes from, and how we know if it's safe. And I've asked plenty of those questions myself. I put it to the Department of Health, I've put it to the TGA, and I wouldn't have it any other way. That's a democratic process in this country. But the problem is politicians like Senator Hanson and Senator Roberts are using people's fear to boost their own election campaigns, and they're using fear to make money. And that's what this is about from One Nation. They're not being straight with you people out there, not straight at all. It's all about cash. It's all about power, and it's all about One Nation seats. And that's all this is, a grab for cash and seats from One Nation. I reckon a lot of their supporters would think twice if they saw the absolute hypocrisy of these politicians, these two, honestly. One Nation to pretend to be on the side of the people, but they are happy to tell fibs to their own voters if it means they can make a quick buck or two. Take an example. Senator Hanson went on Sky News and said that the TGA had published data saying a whole bunch of people had died from COVID-19 vaccine. And the journalist pulled her up straight away and told her that's wrong. The journalist called her out for misleading Sky's viewers. And you know what happened? Senator Hanson backed down. She admitted she had the facts wrong, that she'd have to look at it again. But the very next day, she went right back to saying the same crap anyway, like nothing had happened. Like that's acceptable behaviour in this country. That's leadership, is it, Senator Hanson? My goodness. I've got things wrong in the past, I accept that and I'll admit it and I'll fix it and I'll move it on. That's how it works. If you get it wrong, then say you got it wrong and stand by that. What sort of person accepts they're wrong but just keeps saying the wrong thing anyway? What sort of person does that? Let's be clear. I don't want people being forced to get vaccinated. I don't think we should ever do that. But I think there's a world of difference between opposing that and supporting this damn bill. This bill says that the freedom of unvaccinated is more important than the freedom of the vaccinated. Really? It says that 9 in 10 Australian adults who have gone out and got the jab don't get a choice themselves. That we don't have a choice to keep COVID out of our work sites, our aged care homes, our pubs, our cafes, our houses, away from our kids. It says some people should be allowed to make consequence-free decisions, that some people should be able to yell fire in a crowded room and get away with it scot-free. I don't think so. Not on my watch. Here's the thing. Being held accountable for your own actions isn't called discrimination. It's called being, you wouldn't believe it, a goddamn bloody adult. That's right, it's being an adult. It's putting others before yourself. And that's what this country's supposed to be about. We don't have lockdowns and border restrictions because state premiers love discrimination. That's rubbish. We have them because state premiers don't want people dying. Because they don't want to be playing Russian roulette with their own people's lives. That's why they're doing it. That is why they're doing it. One Nation is the champion for the right for unvaccinated, COVID-carrying mainlanders to come to Tasmania and create an outbreak. I don't think so. It's not going to happen under my watch, and I doubt very much if it's going to happen under Premier Gutman's watch. We're not going to stand for it. One Nation are just the enemy of health workers and officials who would have to clean up after the outbreak. Everybody pays for COVID-19. Every day we have to deal with lockdown and restrictions is a day when a business goes bust, a family breaks down in despair, and a person takes their own life. The way out of lockdowns and restrictions is vaccinations because there is nothing else on the table. Let's be honest about that. It's how we protect ourselves, it's how we protect each other. It's how we stand together, it's how we fight back. It is the only weapon we have. And we need to do everything we possibly can to keep ourselves safe, our kids safe, our grandchildren safe, and our friends and family. That's what we need to do. Sometimes sacrifices have to be made. They have to be made. You are patriots. We should be celebrating vaccinated Australians. You're fighting for our freedoms, to take control of our lives again. That's what you're doing. And good on you. It's a proud day for you today, and so it should be. Good on you for showing the courage to do so. You're the best we have. You are the frontline fighters, and you're displaying the kind of quality that makes this country the great country it is. Because that's what it takes, sacrifice. I was brought up in believing in responsibility, to look after people that can't look after themselves, and that nobody owes you anything. So go out and earn what you want. Go out there and earn it. This bill flies in the face of all of that, and that's why I absolutely oppose every bit of it.
Thank you,
Ladies and gentlemen, women, they support them to manage each other. They were the support Greens, those people government, them to have power. They were the not support them, they give them rights. They were the support them Greens, them to have power, not to give them freedom of choice, them to take them up power, not to control them. You women to marry, to support them to manage each other, you are the not support. You are the not support yourself. You destroy yourself. You men, you support them, get to manage each other. You are the not support yourself. You destroy yourself. You support them to have power to control you. You to destroy you. You hear how she talking. One nation she fighting freedom, human rights. Them to lose power to control them. Meaning is you give them power, you need to many to manage each other. They were not, meaning you have to know they were not give you rights. Now you women to manage each other, you men and women to manage each other, to support them, you were not they were not give you rights. They don't want you to make a baby. Listen to Rachel again, he tell you this. Going, look, search in Google, in the ABC to find this interview. Now you destroy yourself and you bring yourself not to have any rights. Okay, society, share with your friend ABC News. Share with all politicians and all society. And BBC News, share around the world this video, society, to get this all information, how they destroy them ourselves, how they support politicians, them to destroy them ourselves.